Hey everyone, Michael from OneSky here. Another new moon video. This new moon's coming up May 4th, 2019. It's May 3rd, 2019 today, so sorry for being late to the party. My teacher, one of my spiritual teachers, was visiting from India, and I had a chance to cook for him, him and his translator, and another teacher. And I was completely wrapped up for almost 2 weeks, and then I switched over running completely Linux. So switched from Windows to Linux. So had to get everything set up in a whole new platform, a whole new operating system, and I didn't plan well enough to have the new moon video released last week, like I usually do. So let's look at this chart. You can see right away that the signs that we're using in this zodiac are uneven sizes. It's a system of astrology called true sidereal astrology, and we're using the exact size and location of the constellations. So if you're seeing this and you're thinking that new moon is supposed to be in Taurus, well, it's actually astronomically in Aries. So again, true sidereal astrology is astronomically accurate. So we're using the actual heavens, not the tropical zodiac. So yeah, big shift here because this new moon in Aries is sort of hard left in the journey, the lunar journey. The last 3 lunar cycles have been marked by new moons that were very Piscean or Neptunian in nature. We're just coming off the last 2 new moons, which were in Pisces, and then 3 new moons ago in Aquarius we had a new moon conjoined up to Neptune here. So the theme has very much been one of the bigger picture, the spiritual mystery, intuition, and maybe generosity, maybe for some of us forgiveness. But these themes run through Pisces, and we're gonna shift gears. May 4th with a new moon in Aries. We're looking only at the close angles in this chart. We're looking at the close angles, and so we're not looking at the full range of aspects here. If we were looking at the full range of aspects, we would see a not too close a trine, a less exact trine, but we would see a trine between this new moon and the Pluto-Saturn South Node conjunction that's been hanging out in Sagittarius for months now and is going to go exact in January 2020. So we will see these themes of structural change, of transformation and reevaluation of systems, especially philosophical or religious systems. We will see this calling up from the past for review and going over what might seem like old stuff, processing maybe the way we organize and the way we build around philosophy, worldview, religion, that sort of thing. We will see that energy present in the new moon in a way that isn't directly in this chart that I cast. There was the tragedy at Notre Dame. And a lot of people said, well, Uranus is ingressing into Taurus. Uranus in Taurus, and ingress meaning to enter. So Uranus is entering the sign of Taurus tropically. And it's interesting because Uranus is sidereally ingressing into Aries. And Uranus ingresses are famous, tropical or sidereal, famous for some major disruption. In fact, tropically, when Uranus ingressed into Aries, which was right about here in our chart, this is where tropical Aries starts, here in sidereal Pisces. But when Uranus passed that point, so again, in the tropical zodiac, moving into a new sign, just like it is right now. In the sidereal zodiac, that's a degree of Pisces where there's a star, I think Alciat, which is just associated with heartache and tragedy, sadness. It's long been an unfortunate influence. And at that time, Uranus here was opposite to Saturn in Virgo. So you have this Saturn opposition to Uranus in the degree of Alciat. And so looking at the chart sidereally, we see this in the water sign of Pisces. That was the time of the Gulf of Mexico oil spill. I don't even remember if that was 2004. But whenever it was, when that happened, everybody was saying, "Oh, Uranus is ingressing into Aries," and bang, we have this big event. Well, guess what? Uranus actually just made its sidereal ingress into Aries, and it's not poorly aspected in any major way that I have seen. Nothing terribly significant, but we do have this major event with Uranus in Pisces. We see the Gulf of Mexico oil spill, a watery crisis. With Uranus in fiery Aries, we see Notre Dame burning. And with this Pluto-Saturn South Node conjunction, transforming, maybe restructuring, maybe calling up the past for reevaluation, a kind of status check on all that. It's fascinating. It's fascinating to watch. Fascinating to watch these energies play out. So that's one interesting aspect of this new moon. Uranus has ingressed into Aries, and we do have the start of a new cycle with Uranus there, one whole degree and 13 minutes in. With the new moon in Aries here, I want to take a look at Mars, because Mars rules Aries, and so is the dispositor of this new moon, playing a little bit of a more important role in this cycle as that. And Mars is here in Taurus, opposite, actually a very close opposition here, approaching at 0 degrees 38 minutes. So a 0 degree opposition to Jupiter, retrograde in Ophiuchus. And with the new moon in Aries, this might provide a bit of drive, a bit of inspiration, a bit of energy, a fire, go-get'emness to this lunar cycle. Mars in Taurus will probably dampen that, as Mars in Taurus is a little less driven forward. The energy of Taurus is much more of kind of sitting there and relaxing, kind of like Ferdinand the bull, who likes to just smell the flowers. Doesn't really want to get in the bullfight, which is That's Mars's territory. And so Mars with this placement in Taurus opposite up to retrograde Jupiter in Ophiuchus may give this Aries moon an energy of challenge, and it may be challenged in the way. With Jupiter oppositions, you often tend to see quality of overreaching. Overreaching, maybe having bigger plans or dreams than we're really able to manifest. With an opposition to Mars, you might see the energy of Aries colored by maybe almost armchair philosophy, kind of the willingness to sit there and maybe dream big, but then when it comes to actually doing it, things could be a little challenge there. We might in our armchairs dream a little bigger than we're really able to put into effect, place into action. We may find ourselves able to communicate these armchair dreams. If that is the energy that this lunar cycle takes, we may find ourselves able to communicate them with enthusiasm. This Mercury trine up to Jupiter is probably going to lend itself to some ease of communication and some ease of expression, some expansive quality to that expression. But Mercury in Pisces can be very but Mercury's in Pisces. Mercury in Pisces can be a little diluted, often confused, and it's not the strongest placement there. So even in the expression of all that, I wouldn't look for too much there. One of the biggest shifts in a new moon in Aries is that we're coming out of Pisces, where the story of the houses of the zodiac end. We're coming out of Pisces in this Neptunian phase, which have to do with the bigger picture, and it has to do with matters of the spirit, of matters of kind of the all, or these more like nebulous and ominous kind of grand concepts. Not that Pisces is ominous, but in the sense trying to encompass everything at once with the mind has a quality of just like kind of mind-blowing. And we're coming out of this phase where we've been dealing with energies that have primarily been marked by that bigger picture, and we're coming into the Aries new moon, which is a phase that's really going to bring it right back down to earth in a really pragmatic way, because Aries is very concerned with the immediate needs of the self and what it needs to do to meet them. The needs of ourself and the steps we need to take to satisfy them. So it's a very direct, very immediate influence. And if anything, the energy of Aries can be a little bit impulsive and a little bit driven to accomplish those needs without really considering others in the picture, where Pisces does, for all its confusion, tend to be very, very considerate, very open, very empathic, very sympathetic. So we're shifting gears in a big way. We've been in this later end of the story that starts with Aries and moves around to Pisces. We've been in this later end of the story, and we're sort of with this new moon starting a new chapter, starting a new section of the story. So we're starting a new chapter or a section here in Pisces that's going to come back around here in Aries. So we're starting a new section of the story here in Aries that starts with ourself, our immediate needs, and we're going to move around to our stuff, our valuables and our values, the things we carry with us. Gemini in the 3rd house have a lot to do with how we communicate, how we learn, how we process information, and so on. And in a sense, this individuation process is demarked in a way that moves around the zodiacal band, starting with Aries. So, as we move around through all this, Cancer and the 4th house have to do with our home, our security, our family. The 5th house with the things we love, our passions. Virgo in the 6th house, having to do with work and health. And that is, this half of the story. And when we move into Libra and the 7th house, we start to see others, our relationships, and a dynamic that is beyond these first 6 factors. And then we move into transformation, personal alchemy, sex and death and the hidden of 8th house, Scorpio Fucus. Moving into the expansive territory of Sagittarius, emerging from that scorpionic transformation into a higher perspective, into the mysteries of philosophy and religion. Then we see Capricorns, and the 10th house is work and offering to the world. And in the 11th house, which is associated with Aquarius, we see society, groups, organizations, kind of a more social dynamic with other people. And then here in the 12th house, associated with Pisces, we do see the mysteries of spirituality, sometimes religion, more aspects of the mystical than the religious. The Sagittarius and in Jupiter's territory is where we tend to find religion, but in Pisces we tend to find just really like the mysterious, the spiritual, the like I said, the all, the very big picture. And so that's a little bit of a breakdown of what I mean when I say that Aries and the energy of Aries is associated with that first step of the story, our self. It's associated with our immediate needs, kind of where we start that journey through this process. And every time we move around that cycle, every year, things take on, these flavors, these areas of life are activated. So that's one of the reasons the tropical zodiac begins with Aries. There are a couple reasons, and I get into that in some of my other videos, but one of the arguments for it is that, oh no, Aries is where it starts. Aries is where the story starts. So every spring, at the spring equinox, we'll start the year with the story of Aries. And, as astronomers and people who follow sidereal astrology know, the spring equinox is, the sun is rising right about here in early Pisces, moving backwards, hence precession. So by the time we actually have an Aries new moon, it's the 4th of May. Well, everyone, I think that's about all I really want to say today. Thanks for bearing with me. Thanks for watching. And I will see you next time. Ciao.